It just dawned on me that it was probably
So the first thing I want to do today is just review some of the topics, so that way you kind of remember what we did with board breaks. And then you're going to be working on an activity for the rest of the class. And if you finish early, you can continue to work on your lecture as we tomorrow. You do have to print out packet number 2, which is online. Okay, the school has no paper, so
Yeah.
no paper anymore.
Yeah, it's so fun.
But anyway, it's so difficult. You need to make sure you print it out for tomorrow. You had to print it out anyway in order to do the notes, but there's an activity in the back we'll be using tomorrow. Okay? So back to packet 1. Okay, so just reviewing some of the topics, go through your notes to answer these questions, just so that way you can remember, and be prepared for the activities with them. So we started off just by talking about the one last compromise our country was able to push through before the Civil War. What was the Kansas-Nebraska Act? Okay, if you don't know, look back in your notes. Okay, so to organize it, how did it do so? Yeah.
it gave Kansas and Nebraska popular sovereignty.
Okay, so the people are going to vote. So before that, remember, it was supposed to be free. It was forced to be very complicated line, but that would have ruined the free slave ballot. So they passed the Kansas Nebraska Act. Okay? What happens when Kansas actually didn't try to vote? When they actually try to implement popular sovereignty?
They have a lot of people moving in closely to sway the vote to make it free.
Okay, then so you have people moving in, and who else do you have that comes in? Yeah.
People who are on the border just coming in and voting and leaving.
Good. So you have not only people that are moving in to influence the vote, you also have people that are purposely just going over to vote the day of, right, to influence the election. So there's more free soilers who live in Kansas, but all of the elections, which side do they wind up on? Slavery. Right? So we wind up eventually with 2 different governments in Kansas, and the national government is split on how they're going to respond. What happens in Kansas after this? Including Kansas, okay? You have the sack of Lawrence, and then you have John Brown, right, that crazy zealot that decides he has to single-handedly end slavery. We're going to be talking about him again later this week. And he sets off leaving Kansas. Sorry.
Also, kind of scalping like 5 people single-handedly end slavery. I'm not seeing that.
Well, they were the bringers of slavery. So one by one, he's going to destroy it.
Oh,
He does
so
something
he was
crazier
planning
later
on
on.
just
We'll get
getting
back.
all of them. Okay.
So if you flip to the back, okay, the 2 events you had to do in the first lecture, okay, were the Supreme Court decision Dred Scott and the Wisconsin Constitution. So the Dred Scott decision, historians look at it now, is probably the worst decision our country has made in the Supreme Court. It was extremely biased. It was really bending the Constitution for the Southerners, because nowhere in our Constitution would it say blacks are not citizens. Right? They take that as an interpretation to try to push forward their political agenda. So if you recall, Dred Scott was a slave that was brought into free territory, and then he's brought back to his slave state later on. So the court case, he sues for his freedom. What was the decisions that were made? Why is this significant?
Didn't it rule that African Americans can't sue people because
So he doesn't even say that slaves aren't citizens. He says all blacks, all African Americans cannot be citizens because the founding fathers would look at them that way. So he could have stopped there, right? He says to Dred Scott, you're black, you shouldn't be in the Supreme Court, we can't even have this conversation, right? Where have we heard an argument like that before? It's another, good, the Native Americans, okay? But if you remember, John Marshall stopped there. He said, I can't make a decision on this, and then they have to figure out another way to come back in. What's significant about this case is they don't stop right there. They don't just say, okay, blacks are not citizens. They continue with their decision, right? They're trying to influence and push forward their political agenda. So what is the other part of this decision?
So say that, they can't take away people's property, and so then because of that, then the Missouri Compromise.
Good. So they say states can make whatever decision they want, but territories, they're owned by the federal government, so the federal government has to follow the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And what's in the Bill of Rights? Good. Fifth Amendment, the protection of your property. So the argument goes in Dred Scott that because the federal government has to protect your property, they can't allow popular sovereignty in the territories. They have to, first and foremost, protect your property. That means all that stuff with popular sovereignty, all that stuff with people deciding, the Missouri Compromise of making certain areas free, none of that is allowed. Okay? The only thing that is allowed is you have to allow people to bring slaves wherever they want, at least into the territories. Why does this split up the Democrats?
The North and the South are, the North is disgusted and the South is happy, so in that order, North, South.
Okay, good. So the Democratic Party member always supported what policy? How are they able to kind of get around the slavery question and make it popular sovereignty? This kind of ignores popular sovereignty, right? You're not letting the people have a choice anymore. So you see a split in the Democrats. You have people like Stephen Douglas who are going to stick to popular sovereignty, and you have the Southerners who are going to say, nope, Supreme Court has made a decision. You have to allow us to keep our slaves out west. The second event you have to look at was the Lecompton Constitution, right? And remember, all of these are the reason there was that spirit of compromise being destroyed. The Lecompton Constitution deals with which state again? Kansas, right? They quickly put through a vote. The Free Soilers boycott it, saying that it's illegal. Here's another vote, conflicting constitutions. It goes to the federal government. What does Congress say about the Constitution? Do they accept it or reject it? They reject it, right? So part of the compromise there was they were going to send it back to Kansas. Kansas was going to vote on it again. They deny it. They get rid of the Constitution. So when does Kansas finally enter the country? What has to happen first? Vote. Yeah.
Don't need to create a new one, a new constitution.
Yeah, but they don't. When do they finally enter our country? Says Kansas eventually is entered in. When does that happen? What happened by 1861?
Civil War.
Civil War. Kansas doesn't enter the country, doesn't become a state until the South is appropriate. Okay, that was something that the North and South were never able to solve together. Kansas doesn't become a state until the Civil War has already begun. Okay, so today in class you're going to be looking at these events again. Okay, you're going to just be using your notes. If you flip to page 13, there's 4 quotes for you to look through. Okay, just a couple of questions. They're basically all asked the same thing. Okay, what event or what is the quote describing? Who is the author? For all of them except B, just talk about like the political part. Are they Republican? Are they a Whig? Are they North or South? For quote B, you should be able to come up with the exact author. What I mean by that is the person who said it, right? If you at least come up with the political party. And when you're done with those 4 quotes, you're also going to do the political cartoon that is on page 50. Right? Most likely you will be able to finish this before class. Right? And if you, once you finish, you can get a Chromebook in the back and finish up your lecture for tomorrow. Okay? You guys can work with a partner or in small groups.